Well, we have a 5-second podcast that we just shot into the cloud, so that was good. I've never recorded on that before. What is up? I'm hanging out with my best friend, Paul Kilmer, all over again. We're doing it again. Everyone was so happy that we did it once. We were like, let's do it twice. Fuck it. Paul is my comedy son that's somehow older than me, and that's just how math works in our reality. I'm digging the beard, dude. It's looking pretty full right now. I went opposite and shaved it all, lined it up and fucked it up, but you're looking like a wizard almost. I'm fucking digging it.
Yeah. I'm playing the long game. So I turned 40 this year. I hope to be a full-fledged Santa when I'm 60. So I'm starting to grow the beard now. So when I turn completely gray, it could be not December.
So that's what you're saying it takes. It takes 20 years of concentrated training to be a full-fledged Santa.
It all depends on if you're able to pass a background check. But yeah, I'm starting.
Yeah, they should do more background checks for Santa. Wow, did I Freudian slip much? I Freudian slipped all the way out. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking excited. This is the day after Valentine's Day. Did you have a good Valentine's Day? You and Rebecca? Did you do something romantic?
Yeah, well, when you're together, you know as well as anybody, when you're together for a long time, it becomes about the small things. I went to the mall and got her some handmade chocolates, and
love that.
Then I made her a pizza with the pepperoni in the shape of a heart.
Oh, you went full blown. You see, a lot of hacks. I was getting those targeted ads because everyone knows, I eat garbage food, but like Papa John's, local chains, Valentino's, they're all like, you're a garbage can. You want Papa John's to deliver you this heart-shaped pizza? I'm getting the targeted ads still. Like, we got a few left. Let me know.
Listen, Papa John needs the money.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal needs the money, apparently. He owns all of them now.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing because Papa John wasn't doing so well the last time I looked at the...
No, right? He's like, how could I be racist? I hired Shaq to take over all my failing fucking businesses.
He had no choice.
Yeah.
Shaq saw an opportunity and he just walked right on through that door.
Well, I'm not going to blame Shaq. Shaq was like probably in it for the pizza, honestly.
I'm not even racist, so this is great.
Yeah, exactly. Papa John's is for fucking facts. But either way, that's so cute though. That's such a cute little date. See, I was just telling you before we started recording, I took Ham for part of our Valentine's Day. We went to the movies. You work at a movie theater. And I was just telling you how fucking bad of an experience I had that I paid. Well, it was $5 Tuesday. I'm not trying to be like I took her on a cheap ass date. We were actually thrilled with the deal. We had an eventful day, but part of it was we were going to go see a movie. We decided to go see that movie Marlowe, which you hadn't even heard of, which is shocking because you're in the theaters. But it's got Liam Neeson, some other motherfuckers. It's bad. It's apparently based on a book, but not a good enough book for anyone to fucking know. And my soda. 2 sodas was over $15, and I'm a little upset about it. Considering I paid $5.86 a ticket. But you were like, that's how they get you. But like when the dude said $7 and whatever cents, when I asked, I thought that was pretty high for 2 sodas, and then I realized it was each. And this is the part I didn't appreciate. This is where I'm finding myself becoming a little more conservative. The child, because he was, flung my credit card back at me. Like just threw it like a frisbee and it like hit the table. I'm like, dude, that's like my fucking money.
Yeah. So there's no accounting for bad customer service. I think that more is like an individual thing.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to take the fall for that guy, but it was definitely.
I mean, I will, but
I was surprised by the soda thing.
See,
and I had to pour it myself.
Yeah, so here's the thing, and I try to tell this to a lot of people, just me being, I have like sort of insider knowledge, but the theater I work at, because I don't want to get fired, they only make 20% on every movie ticket, so they have no choice but to upcharge on the food. Now, here's the thing. depending on what AMC location you are, please just get the food. Just, here's the thing. It's like when you go to a movie theater, you know what this was.
I thought I knew.
No. Look, here's the thing. It's eggs are like $6 a pack. And, these chickens, they got a raw deal. But here at the movie theaters, what happens is that you should just get your stuff before you go.
We did, believe it or not, like that was the plan. We I won't say what chain it was, but it's not anyone that's, I think it's a regional chain because it's not anything I ever heard of. But regardless, it's one of those ones where they got the lounge seats that like lean back, and you're encouraged to bring a blanket and a backpack just full of snacks and whatever. So we did that because Ham made a bunch of Valentine's Day like snacks and stuff. We ate like most of the day. That's big. That's very romantic to us. Just make meatballs and eat cookies and shit. So like regardless, we brought a bunch of all that stuff. Like she heated up a bagel and put it in the aluminum foil. Like we went all out, but then we're like, we'll just get like 2 sodas there. Like, why not get some caffeine? And then boom. Like, and again, I'm not mad because all in, I'm like, what, $26 like for an evening out? That's fine. But like, the movie was that bad where I chugged my whole soda. It was a large, obviously, like out of spite, and I had to piss like 3 times during a 2-hour movie. I didn't even care. I was like, I'll miss all this plot. I don't give a fuck.
So that's all accounted for. The theater knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
So how theaters work is that movie studios bid on the different times a year that their movies go in, and basically what ends up happening is that it's a really big gamble because the movie theater is actually the one who ends up with the short end of the stick, because all the money from the tickets mostly just goes back to the movie studios.
Shit. And, yeah, right.
So like,
yeah, it costs a lot to rent a movie, like as a theater, to rent the movie, because that's what they ultimately do, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what ends up happening is that the movie studios, the movie theaters essentially lease out, depending, so it's hard to explain. The movie theaters, they lease out like a movie. They like, they're like, okay, we're going to give you this much of the ticket sales to have Jurassic Park 39.
So basically, like, to put it in comedy terms, because maybe it's a comedian watching it or a band or something, like and put it in like more of a digestible term, it's like a door deal, basically.
Yeah.
Like you get a percentage of like what comes in, like, in 20%, like not feasible. Like that's not even food cost at a restaurant usually.
And what ends up happening is that
but also ultimately you're just fucking chairs is what a movie theater is you're a big screen with a chair, and then so it's like, yeah, you got to make it up. Fine, you want to charge me fucking triple the price of a fucking diet Pepsi because it's the Midwest. It's going to be Pepsi products.
Yeah. So basically what happens is that the on the theater level, the business is different. A lot of people, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go see Ant-Man this weekend. A lot of people don't realize that when you go to see Ant-Man, number one, there might be 3 people working.
It's kind of like a comedy club, and I'm not trying to be like take a shot at comedy clubs or movie theaters, but like, yeah, like the comedy or the movie is kind of, yes, it's what the business is shaped around, but if you're looking at it as a business, it's probably like fourth, fifth most important. Like, let's put it back in funny bones, because like not every movie theater has a bar in it, but some do. So like, you know, like a restaurant, you want drinks are probably like the most important, because that's going to be your moneymaker. Food second, paying your staff, probably not a livable wage, but you know, neither here nor there, not for us to determine. I would make you a millionaire, right, if I could go like that. But you know, and yeah, that's like, and then it's, is it clean? Then the fucking actual product. So like, yeah, cleanliness, like, is the bathroom like maintained?
Because basically,
are we stocked food wise? Like literally, it's like the sixth most important. Like,
because I'll just get, and this might surprise you, probably not, because you worked at a liquor store. Buy Brian's book, The Liquor Store Chronicles, on his website. So basically what happens is that, and book me for comedy shows.
Please book Paul for comedy shows.
Book Brian for comedy shows.
Nah. Book Paul. If you were thinking about booking me, get your head on right and book Paul.
Yeah, I guess so. So basically this is how it works. And this is what I try to tell people. I'll just, these are just a rough estimate. Let's just say we get 1,500 people to see Ant-Man on Saturday, the whole day.
Yeah.
Well, there might be 6 people working at the theater in the morning shift. So it's 1,500 people coming in and 6 people working. So that means there's 3 people in the concession stand. There's 1 person in box office, and then you have an usher. Actually, it's more like 8, but every single person is doing something.
I'm trying to think, like, maybe behind the concession stand, I'd say there's probably like 4 or 5. And it wasn't packed. I'd say there was a main usher, then like the ticket booth people, like 3 of them. And I mean, this is Nebraska, obviously, so there was a full bar in it, but also an armed guard. Well, there was a libertarian just walking around. Running for sheriff or something.
Yeah, so
sheriff in the movie theater.
At my theater, like when you were, so I'll give you an example. So say I'm working from 4 to 10, I might have to clean 25 or so theaters in my shift, but I'm in charge of the lobby, the bathrooms. If the soders go out, that's my responsibility. I have to take care of the cardboard. If someone dies in the bathroom, I have to call 911. If someone dies in the theater, that's also my responsibility. I have to fix
all valid things for comedy shows too.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always tell people, because I was thinking about this today, and a lot of people will fight me on this, but it's true. And I'll give you 2 examples. I believe everyone has a tiny little Karen that lives inside of them.
Oh, for sure.
Little Karen, and mine lives next to my diabetes. Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Karen lives.
Like, what do you mean by that? What sets you, like, what grinds your gears then, I guess?
So he's like this. I take Rebecca to McDonald's. Had a long day. I don't want to cook, even though I love to cook.
Right.
Especially for Rebecca.
I love McDonald's. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by them.
There, and they give me my Diet Coke, and they forget the straw.
Ooh.
And now I have to drink the Diet Coke like an animal, like I'm an animal.
Yeah, you might as well just pour it in a trough, to be honest.
Yeah. And Rebecca's like, do you want to go in? And it's like, no, because now that Karen has now just grown. You know those little tablets you got when you're a kid and you threw it into the water and it expand? That's what a little Karen.
Oh yeah, what are those called? I know Shrinky Dinks, but the opposite. So, I pictured the Grinch's heart, only it's like just someone like, can I speak to the fucking manager?
But it's like I try not to get to that level because I work in service.
Correct, right.
But it's just like certain things, like, you know, hey, did you know you can buy bags of ice at McDonald's? I always, for some reason, that just blows my mind. But
you can buy it?
Yeah, you can buy it. They're $2. You can buy a bag of ice through the drive-thru at McDonald's in my town. And I just thought, of all the things to offer, that was weird. But that's just me. That's just me. Just
Honestly, that's like kind of a game changer. Like if you're just ever in some shit splat town, you need ice because, you know, it's a scare. I don't know. Is that a scarcity? I always have trouble with the gas stations because they're always like, "Do you have ice?" And they're like, "Yeah, and some cooler outside. Didn't you see it up front?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I should have just stole it. My bad."
Like, why is it brown?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll steal some firewood while I'm fucking here too.
I know, and I can get some fish baits.
Yeah, I'm gonna melt all this ice and start a fucking fire. There you go.
Well, it's interesting. The best mom and pop gas stations have the best fish bait. I'm just gonna. You've heard it here first, which is what you say, but.
But it's true. I mean, like you can tell it's gonna be a good short because they'll be like, we have our own like sort of night crawlers, and they're just like in a cooler right next to the Red Bull cooler. It's actually in a Red Bull cooler that they don't even sell Red Bulls. They're like that junk. We keep the good night crawlers in that little fucking shit cooler. It's got like a Jaeger bomb fucking symbol on it.
Jaeger bombs are like, okay, yeah. I'm just gonna before I get onto that tangent. Jaeger bombs. So at my theater, I work really hard to try to make sure the guests are taken care of. Like there's napkins. There's nothing like you got your popcorn, you buttered the crap out of your popcorn, you've salted it, you've obliterated any chance of you tasting the actual popcorn taste. And now you're out of napkins.
I didn't even know popcorn had a taste that wasn't butter, if I'm being honest.
I know. That's people freaked out. And you want to know what it tastes like? Styrofoam.
But, oh my God. So it's like a texture thing. I knew it.
It is, because unless you put the butter and the salt on it, it doesn't really taste like it. It's not like it's corn on the cob.
No, you gotta make it pop, which also is better with salt and butter.
It is.
Especially salted butter.
Oaxaca cheese and paprika.
Yeah.
I love Mexican street corn.
Yeah, I had some, I mean, that shit's really carby and I didn't even care. I had some at this like fair. There's like a fucking weird redneck Disney World sort of theme park out here.
That sounds both terrifying and something that I would like to do. It's like, hey, Paul, do you want to go to the Pez factory? No, but yeah, kind of now that it's like some ideas.
In Connecticut, yeah.
It's like some ideas like is an automatic no, and then you just sit and then you start like ruminating about it. It's like, yeah, I'll go to a Pez factory because it sounds like something Paul would do. Like,
well, you go is like because only tourists ever want to go there in Connecticut, so they drag you along as a fucking Connecticutian. Then you're like bored fucking instantly because you're like, I haven't eaten Pez since ever. The thing is you just eat them all and then you fucking break the toy. That's what you do with Pez.
I just threw the toy out. Just fuck that. You just eat the candy.
Yeah, I have a brother who's 16. He doesn't fucking understand Pez. He's like, this is stupid, and just eats the candy. But shit. You said something though that really like got me going, but now I fucking forgot. Yeah. Darn, there's so many tangents. I feel like
I'm just gonna go back, and I was just like, I think I derailed it when I talked about the getting ice at McDonald's, but
you got me excited, is what happened.
Yeah, I said it's basically like this. When I work a shift at the theater, I want you to come into the theater and say, hey, this guy is trying really hard to make sure there's no pee on the toilet seat. And honestly,
I do say that every movie theater I went to. In fact, I made sure not to do it at all those pees during Marlowe.
And it's just like it's so funny because I did theater maintenance a long time and changing light bulbs and stuff like that. And I've been in both bathrooms, both male and female.
Brag much?
And it's interesting, and a lot of people find this interesting, is both bathrooms get equally dirty. A lot of people, it's like, oh, men's bathroom is disgusting. Women's bathroom, no.
They're both gross.
They are equally as disgusting.
Yeah, poop's gross. I don't know if you know that, but if you ever are in a room that's primarily for shitting and pissing, it's going to get a little yucky from time to time.
Yeah. And it's like I go in with my mop and my little like mask and gloves, and
that's best case scenario, by the way. I might add that just people are shitting and pissing in there.
Oh yeah, because it's like he's like, you don't know if people are like, Connecticut is fentanyl. Like we had an I'm gonna start again. We had an opioid crisis. Now it's a fentanyl epidemic.
Yeah.
It is like
Well,
a
I don't know. I was
fentanyl
like, why is that in
apocalypse.
past tense? And I'm like, oh yeah, right, because we've moved on.
So basically what ends up happening is I'm afraid to clean the bathrooms, not because they are dirty, but because I don't want to absorb that fentanyl through my skin and die at my job.
Oh, I don't think that's a thing where the cops are going like on TikTok and faking seizures
That's what
and
they
shit.
said on Fox News. But anyway,
Yeah, well, there you go. There, as Bill Engvall would say, here's your DUI. You know what I'm saying? But oh, I remember what I wanted to say now because we talked like exclusively. I mean, we talk a lot about movie theaters, obviously, because it's like a big source of shit in your everyday life and stuff. But our last interview conversation that was recorded, I guess, we talked a lot about Batman in the beginning, and I have to tell you this because you're the first person I actually am going to tell, actually, because yesterday Ham and I sealed the deal. There's a new Batman themed bar in Lincoln, and I had reached out to them just like, hey, I saw they had done maybe a one-off comedy show before.
Yeah.
They have live music and a lot of other random stuff, and we were just like, hey, we do comedy, your bar is cool, big Batman fan. And at the end I was like, by the way, my show, This Is Comedy, is like, I wrote the word plump, I go fat, not morbidly obese, but fat, plump Batman. And I love Batman, we talked about it a bunch, and they messaged me back, and we're doing like a shit ton of events there now. So we're gonna be doing mad comedy there, karaoke, my favorite, and painting events, Batman painting events. So I'm just really excited. So check out all the shit coming up in March at Gotham at Haymarket. So, and that's what it's called. And it's so cool, dude. It's like down in like a basement, but it's super, the lighting is nice, and it's got a lot of art and cool shit, and they're just really big on the art. The art scene is like the one thing I will pat Lincoln on the back for, as much as I say I hate it and fucking shit on Nebraska and stuff. There's a thing that's conceptually like pretty cool. Most of the bars, breweries and whatever do them around here. It's called First Fridays, and that's basically they feature a new artist every month and like hang their art, and you can sell them. You're like at some like hipster place, and you're like, I want to buy this painting while I'm taking a shit, every month. Like Ham's at the brewery down the street, Code Beer. I'm supposed to be there next month. Like we drove by back from the movie theater actually, and we were just looking in the window at her art, and it's very cute. She's way more talented than me, so that's why I've been drawing all those old men, because that's what I'm going to be hanging there, is the dirty gross dudes I've been drawing lately. But yeah, we have a fuck ton of shit coming up at a Batman bar, and I'm like, who better to tell this to than Paul fucking Kilmer? So if and when you come out to Lincoln, I gotta show you. Gotta show you around Gotham City.
If I come out to Lincoln, I'm gonna have a lot of stage.
Yeah, you're gonna be we'll have to do magic events up the wazoo. Well, it was just really nice. The owner is just like a really solid dude, and like I just went in there with the ambition of like having a comedy show there, because I thought it was a good match, and obviously they had done stuff there before, but not with local people. It was just more like traveling people, and like we just happened to live down the street, and Ham works even closer to it, so it was just kind of like, what's that? But then he found out that we ran so much other stuff, so he's like, let's just do a million things. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much.
No one how is Ham?
Ham's great.
Nice.
We're just crushing it. She's working right now. There is a blizzard happening currently, which is very fun. But yeah, she's doing tons of radio, and obviously she's gonna have painting events now and stuff. But like, she's been crushing it. Like we moved here and she just hit the ground running, instantly started headlining huge shit, taking on huge fucking things, only getting funnier and more talented. I couldn't be more prouder of her, like truly. But this is about me and the petty stuff that I do, sitting on my couch talking to my friends back home. No, she's doing bigger and better things. I wish she had time to fucking do shitty interviews with me. She did the one with Jimmy, and that was fucking amazing. But I wish I have to book my wife basically if I want to get a hold of her. But that was also, part of a huge Valentine's Day was we just went there together, and then just we never thought about doing a painting event there, but like it just looked at the
Oh,
place. It had a good vibe, and like there's paintings and murals everywhere. And the guy was just like, let's just go for it. In fact, I've been working on all the promo and stuff for it today. That's been my big project.
yeah. I mean, that really sounds cool. Yeah, I look
It's just
forward to coming out
interesting because
to.
it's like, of course, there's just a fucking brand new Batman themed
Yeah,
bar.
you
It's like
know what
how on
they
the
say.
nose did it have to be, like for one of our like quirks, basically.
You know what they say. Sometimes the universe throws you a bone. You
Yeah, I
know.
guess so, right? Yeah, for
I guess
sure.
I don't know. I don't. I just made that up right now. But
Yeah, well,
um,
you're the universe. Did you know that? That's why you're growing out that beard. You're trying to get your god look, your godliness
yeah, you don't want me to
going.
be God. But so like I got a lot of stuff. I'm doing. Um,
That's so fucking
uh,
cool. You've been busier
people.
than anyone.
Yeah, people are booking me for comedy shows in February and March, and then as soon as I'm gonna hit springtime run in. People are gonna book me for kid shows, magic shows, and it's
That's
gonna
when
be
the
fun.
market really opens up too. Like
Oh God, yeah, I'm gonna be up in Cape Cod a lot this summer with
that's
my friend
awesome. Make
AJ.
sure you try and say what up at least one time to sponsor of the show and channel, Cape Cod Picnic Tables.
I will.
If you ever want to go on a picnic and you need a table, make sure you go all the way to Cape Cod to get it because they do
Yeah,
not deliver. I'm of course talking about the infamous Tyler Roderick, who will
yeah.
probably be doing live comedy in a trash can outside of a TJ Maxx or something. But you never know what kind of venues he's
Yeah.
going to be have
It's so funny
going.
because I've performed in Cape Cod a lot, and I've never once run into Tyler. So I just assumed that he was an AI generated Zoom comedian that
I mean, he
uh,
could be. No one's
yeah,
saying he's not. He's just out there. I think you are in a different area because everyone just thinks Cape
yeah,
Cod is just its
yeah,
own town. Obviously, there's little towns within it. It's a peninsula.
yeah,
You do a lot of shows with AJ and stuff like
yeah.
that. So I mean, that's fucking rad too. But I'm pretty sure those are just not near each other. I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure. I don't have a map of Cape Cod out behind this
Who
computer.
does?
I
That's what I'm
mean,
saying.
normally I would. That was the last
Yeah,
episode with April Brucker, but
yeah.
whatever.
Uh, so I got that going. Where I'm desperately trying to write my one Paul show. Hey, it's me, Paul.
Your one
Basically,
Paul show.
yeah.
Oh my god, I
Uh,
love that.
So it's basically the show is stand up comedy, magic, improv. It runs the gamut, and essentially what it is the whole concept of the show is me thinking it's the whole concept of my show is me thinking it's another event other than a one Paul show. Like I think I'm there to do some kid's bar mitzvah, and then I
Okay.
only have children's magic.
Okay. I love
And it's like
this.
these are adults. My favorite thing is like when I go up on stage, I think I'm really found myself, my character, so to speak, is I'm an agent of chaos. I
Okay. Could
I
that
will
be the
go
name
up,
of the special or the one Paul show?
yeah, maybe. And
Agent of Chaos? Could be a
because
spinoff.
yeah, and one of the things that I'm really working hard to do is to write something that I can pitch to smaller venues and colleges and stuff because, and I don't know why this is, I just connect with like teenagers and not in a bad way, but college kids,
Yeah.
um, because you always got to put that out there because you don't want to end up on To Catch a Predator because show was wild. That
Yeah.
show was
He's in
wild.
jail now, Chris Hansen. Tax
Yeah,
evasion shit.
yeah. They should have caught him. They should have had like To Catch a Tax Evader. And
The IRS is like, why don't you have a
yeah,
seat after this
yeah,
episode, actually?
that's gotta. It's just like
It's gonna be
you
a
know,
while.
it's kind of like I feel like but the show is coming together, because it's like, for the longest time, it's like, oh, why don't you just produce your own show, Paul? And it's like,
Right, which is not a bad idea at all, but of course, easier said than done always. And anyone who's ever saying that is probably not practicing what they preach.
yeah, but no, it's just like a magician.
Yeah.
They have a show, and they're either on like a variety act, or they produce their own show. And for me, it's more about quality than quantity, because like when I go and do comedy shows, I'm consistently, and this is not me having a big head, but I really work hard to make sure I get laughs every single time that I'm out there, because I'm under the belief that a comedian should be able to make someone laugh.
Whoa, high expectations.
But I know people are going to misconstrue that. It's like, oh, look at Paul, the Zoom comedian. It's gone to his head. And you know what? Maybe it has.
I wouldn't even call you a Zoom comedian. I think you're just a comedian and a magician.
I'm very proud of my Zoom comedy.
I'm not saying you should be ashamed of it either. I'm just saying it is what it is. I think it was circumstantial for everybody.
Our mutual friend and life partner, Kirk Broussard, I'm so very happy that I met him on Zoom, because he's helping me come up with 20-second intro music that I'm gonna have
fuck yeah,
play me on. And he sent me and I'll send you it, but it's like a rough thing. And I was like, because I have 3 rules that I live by when I perform. Number 1 is I try to be as nice as I can to my audience. Number 2,
opposite of me, but okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I didn't mean that. I wasn't trying to derail you. I was just trying to.
Yeah. It's so, because here's the thing. I can't remember what comedian said this, or even if it was a comedian, but it's like, oh, you almost want your audience to fall in love with you. I think what it is that I'm endearing, but you're also endearing in your own way.
Oh, of course. I think I say nasty things, but no one's like, is he kidding? Because if you smile, sorry, my bad.
But to be honest with you, because I've seen you perform a lot up here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And this is just for all the tens of thousands of people who watch and listen to this podcast.
Right.
I want to say a good amount of time is that it's not like Brian is going into the audience. Someone has to say something. And every single instance that I've seen Brian perform, somebody said something, and Brian very naturally reacts to that and says something. Brian doesn't go out and heckle his audience.
That's true.
He manages his crowd work like an adult. He's an adult man who knows how to do a comedy show, and he's not a child in a wig. I love Brian. And you should buy his book, The Liquor Store Chronicles. Because if you don't buy the book, you're missing out on about 10 years of his life at a liquor store.
You're too sweet. I sincerely appreciate that. You're much funnier than me, but I will take your compliments. I accept them. Thank you. That's so nice. But it bums me out too. Like, I appreciate the compliments. I've always considered myself such a kind of like a crowd work guy, I guess you would say. But I hate how that's just all the algorithm is now. So in fact, I've actually been trying to stay away from it as much as possible. If anything, it's going to be like a prank where it's some sort of reaction, or it's like some sort of live, meta thing where that's where I want, or it's going to be strictly written sketch comedy, whatever. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because here's the thing, and here's the thing about crowd work.
Right, or making your jokes more conversational, which is what I more so leaned on, but yeah.
Everybody has this preconceived notion about what comedy and being a comedian is.
Sure.
It is so narrow that bookers, and especially comedians that are bookers, they completely miss out on, hey, what does the audience want? Oh, hey, it's like, because, and I learned this in Zoom comedy, is that if you take, and I'm gonna scratch it out. What I learned from you is,
whoa.
okay, and here's the thing, and this is to any young comedians out here who are looking to get in the game, and by no means do I feel like I'm a teacher, but this is something I learned from you. Write 30 minutes, take it to an open mic, write down the jokes that hit and miss, take the jokes that hit, that becomes your set, and then take the jokes that didn't hit and go back and try to make them hit. That's what you taught me, right?
I mean, more or less, that sounds like something I would say along the lines. I can see the. I mean, it's. I think you're a little more optimistic than me. I don't even. I wish I had the drive to go back and probably fix the things that weren't working. I kind of shelved them, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying personally, I feel like I shelved them because it's not like those lines ever go anywhere. You can always I find myself doing that all the time now. I think time is an ultimate equalizer in a lot of ways, and not just petty reasons in comedy, but like, I write like a new tag for a joke that's a few years old. I'm like, oh, that'd be funny if I just, I think of a funny line, but I'm like, it has no place. I'm like, fuck, but that would actually make that older joke I have kind of revived, renewed, whatever. It gives this new twist to it. It gives a new plot. And then I can just, it would actually fit this line from that joke. So maybe I take that line back and you're not stealing, you're just recycling your own thing or putting on this new flair to it. So I find a lot of joy in that. But I think a lot of comedians, to their own detriment, do the other part that you said, just going back and trying to fix the other things. I think that's good. But yes, definitely just getting the things that work and sticking with it. But then a lot of comedians will just be like not realizing what's actually not working about it, because it's what you said at the very top of your, part of this was a lot of comedians just get so involved with the other shit of all of this, they actually just really do forget to be like, what do the audiences want? To the core base of, they're more focused on what does the algorithm want? What is going to get me max views? Because 9 times out of 10 with these dudes that got mad views on shit, and then they post how many views they're getting on TikTok or whatever, it's all comedians love reacting to it. And then you go to the comments and it's people just saying that they suck.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you actually getting traction on? Shit
is the internet, and the internet, for me, the way I look at it is, and like going back to, is you told me to write like 5 jokes a day.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You said that. You said, write a couple of jokes a day, take them to an open mic, but always try to write.
I did say that. Yeah. Well, the thing is too, my writing style has changed a lot over the years too. I'm like, that's one way I used to write a new 5, like every week and go run it somewhere. Bishop's Lounge in Northampton was different. I don't even know if that mic still exists. I think it does. They still do that there. Yeah. I haven't been there in a long time. Yeah, but out there it was just a solid Sunday mic. You could go and run it, and there was always like a pretty good crowd. So like you had at your disposal. And that's the other thing too. You can try new shit at shows. Like when you're at an open mic, like here, comedians seem like they don't want to even waste their open mic sets. I see comedians, whether they're at a fucking showcase here or an open mic, they pretty much don't deviate from whatever the fuck they were going to talk about. It's kind of weird, but all in the same keel, they've never probably seen me tell an actual joke from my set.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times what happens is, I think comedians are way too hard on themselves.
Oh, big facts. They're fucking egomaniacs. They're so self-centered. So they have to. So anything bad happens, like anything good happens, they're like, why is this happening to this person and not me? Or like they only think about the next. It's like you have a room full of people. The cliche, room full of people laughing. You stare at the one guy that's not. Arms crossed, and you'll pick on him because you project.
Yeah.
And newer comedians project in more obvious ways by saying something fucked up that's not really thought out just for shock value and then being like, what, too soon? It's like, just sit with it. Maybe if you didn't say too soon, you'd actually get a bigger laugh if you stood there confidently. But actually, it's just a shitty joke. So,
yeah. So what I do is, and I think this comes from my, from just a lot of comedians don't realize their entertainment.
You mean it's still a customer service job, bro?
Yeah, it's entertainment. As a magician, when a family
Art
brings me,
and entertainment.
when I go in and perform, because here's the thing, I've been actually performing since I was 14.
Yeah.
And what I mean is, as a family will drop $200 and $300 to have me go in and perform for their friends and family. And I think that training gave me a lot of that. When I go to do a comedy show, I'm entertaining the audience. I'm making them laugh. I'm entertaining them using magic. Is that we're entertainers. One of the things I learned as being a magician is be an entertainer first and then a magician second.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, more or less. I mean, that's like, and then it starts to become that whole, like, you see a lot of boomers post it, like, there's a difference. The difference between a comedian and a comic is like a comedian says something funny and a comic says something in a funny way. It's like, how about you both just go jerk off on each other's face, actually? Because I don't care about what any of this.
Sounds like a good, that's sounding like a good, like, Tuesday afternoon for some
Yeah,
people.
right. That's my new bit. Like, that's what I go to the open mic and I'm like, why does no one get that I've been doing this for 14 years? Because I'll sit there at an open mic going last, so fucking 1:30 in the morning in fucking bumfuck Nebraska, and I'll be like, what if two guys arguing on the internet just jerked off on each other's face? And then the guy goes, woo! And I'm like, yeah, I got a free Red Bull for this. What's up?
I know. It's just like, and then so what I do, and I say is, when I'm up on stage and I look at a person and they're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should laugh or not, and I'm like, because of the character that I play on stage, and because of my own personality, I'm going to it's like I can look at my audience and I kind of know what to say and what not to say.
But also, like, they can't ever forget the context of like things that you're saying. But like, and I'm not trying to be like a right wing leaning guy who's like, you have to listen to context, or like, listen all that, because that's a big common excuse people use to just escape, just stick it, like actually having to explain the shitty thing they said or whatever. But also like the context of like the thing that often gets like left in it is like, you're at a fucking comedy show. That's the context. So also it's like, if you don't laugh at one thing, you can't just dismiss the person, which also happens too. It's like people like, they're bad now because they didn't make me laugh like one. It's like, just they'll get you on the next one. Go take a piss. And maybe this comic's not your jam. You'll like the next comic, maybe the next bit, maybe the next topic, like whatever the fuck. Give it a second.
I never understood this. People give up too easy.
They don't have an attention span anymore. I barely could contain myself to let you say that thing just to say it, because I knew what you were going to say, and that's bad too. But I'm at least acknowledging it. People do not have the attention span to, I mean, like, shit, it's apparent as fuck on the internet, but then when you're actually forcing them to not go on the internet and watch something in front of their fucking face, they call people fascists just for making them put their phones in bags. It's crazy, but like, I get it too. Because it's like, why can't I film Joe Rogan bombing? I don't understand. But regardless, you have to compete with the rest of the world, the entertainment, until they mentally check out or actually go on their phone. Because let's face it, we're not doing any theater that's stealing anyone's phone. If someone can steal their phone, it's because you owe them meth in the bathroom. So like, regardless, the fucking reality is you have to, I don't know. There's no fucking point, honestly. Comedy's stupid and I hate it, but I love it. And so do you. It is what it is. But yeah, a lot of things, we're just kind of like nitpicking at problems and stuff. But I think first of all, I appreciate you like taking away something I said and learning something from it. But like, I think the overall silver lining to take away from it ultimately is, there's a Johann Sebastian Bach fucking quote I love, the composer from the whatever fucking time period. He said, anyone could be as good as me if they tried as hard as me. And I think that's at least works across the board when it comes to discipline and comedy. If anyone was as disciplined, as you, with like working through writing a bunch, making sure it's quality. And also what people don't realize is it's not as daunting as a task too, of just like writing a bunch too. The more you do it and get in that rhythm, you will write smarter and harder. So it's not like you have to go back and refine it as much. You already write in that mode of like, this is actually horseshit. I don't need any of this to get to this part. I can just start the story literally fucking here or whatever it is. You're not getting to the point quick enough. That's most people's problems in fucking any conversation. But yeah, I think that's really what it is having the discipline to sit down, try something, refining it. Maybe it's and noting the audience reaction, because that's what it is playing the audience. This sounds meaner than I need to, but you're like playing them like an instrument. I do this, then you do that. I do this, hopefully you do that. Then I do this, and then you'll do something like this.
Yeah. But
I'm invoking these reactions.
Yeah, and I think that
there's a rhythm.
Yeah, no,
there's a meter.
There is, and
there's a beat.
There's always meat, but the meat and potatoes. And like I was thinking the other day that when I look at the way my comedy evolves and comedy and magic, and then our mutual friend Adam Parisi, he got on Penn and Teller.
I know. I'm doing one of these with him too. We were supposed to do it, and then a few things conflicted, and then that aired. So I was like, let's let that happen. And then when you're not famous anymore, come back, please. But I will have one with him very soon. I love Adam. It's cool. I mean, not many people can even have one magician friend. I have two.
Yeah. And he's a guy I look up to,
Same.
or I go to, and it's like he's doing all this stuff, and it's really good to have people like. So here's the thing, I think I have the greatest group of friends in the world, because it's like, oh, I have this joke and I want to test it out. Oh, my friend Brian's been a comedian for 14 years and he'll be honest with me.
Yeah, that is one of my pros and cons.
All I have to do is send him a message. If I'm working on a new trick and I want somebody to be brutally honest with me, I can count on Adam to help me out with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say it's not how many friends you have.
Lucky.
It's the quality of friends.
Yeah, I mean, I feel lucky having you as a friend. I feel lucky having Adam as a friend. I feel lucky having Kirk as a friend. Talented people that could do so many amazing things with the bullshit I can come up with. Like Adam has helped me with creative endeavors. I'm lucky just the same way as you. Like I'm like, who will do some interview with me that I don't even really know what the fuck I'm doing just because I have no creative outlet. Paul is so nice. He won't say no to me. So I can guilt Paul into this. But then people loved it. So I'm like, you'll do it again, right? And you're like, absolutely. So this is my one-man Paul show called Brian and Paul.
Yeah. So what about that Chinese balloon they shot down? That's crazy, huh?
Yo, Canada shot down one too. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 now, 7. I don't even know. There's a lot. Dude, we're all going to war. World War III is already underway. I mean, there's an Eastern Front and there's a Western Front. We're doing it World War II style, I feel like. Well, Russia's invading a million places. Turkey, which changed its name so I would lose a joke that I added a fucking line to from 5 years ago, recently is out now. They're like veto, like everyone's trying to join NATO because they're afraid they're gonna get invaded. The US is like, we will protect the Philippines against Taiwan getting invaded. And they're like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? We're like, we will protect the Philippines. So I mean, like the things we read on the news are so, I mean, literally countries are just fearful. Like Moldova collapsed like financially, so they're just afraid Russia's gonna just take it over, which I mean, they're probably not afraid. They're like, yeah, it's going to happen. You know, the world is just like literally spinning on fire right now. And that's how I feel about the Chinese. But I feel like the balloon thing is a big, like, we already knew what the fuck was going on. That was literally, I remember Trump screaming, we're going to ban TikTok because China's spying us. So it's like, how are we like, and there's like a myriad of reasons. We spy on them. They spy on, we spy on everybody. We pretend we're the world fucking police. And then when anyone, we dropped nukes on fucking Japan. And we're like, what if Russia did the same fucking dumb, tone deaf atrocities we did, which they do anyways? It's called Afghanistan or wherever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like literally, like, and you have Israel's bombing fucking Iran right now. I know, sorry, I've been doom scrolling a lot lately. You asked the wrong person this shit, but basically, how do I feel about it? I feel I will answer your question in this next sentence now because I've ranted too long about my terrors and existential dread, but the reality is we're just going to use those balloons as a way to insert ourselves in shit that's none of our business. Like a Lusitania sort of situation or whatever the fuck. It's something we knew about and now we're selectively choosing to be upset about it. What's funny about it, because obviously we're comedians and like what's cynical about it is obviously going to be the first thing we think about. And I think it's hilarious we shot a balloon with a missile. I think that's so funny. Like, did we not have a BB gun available?
Or a dart. We could
did we not have a needle?
Really good.
Pop it. Shot a fucking missile at a balloon. I love it, dude. I think that's so funny.
I always said, okay, so
that's very American reaction.
No, listen, think about this.
We don't take it down and like investigate it like while it's like working. We're like shoot it with a fucking missile and then pick it up afterwards. Like hopefully it's made out of that black box shit in a fucking airplane.
So try to wrap your head around this one.
Okay.
There's some poor elementary school kid. This was probably like a high school project. And this group of teenagers spent like 3 years building this balloon and they just released it. And then they're at home like, hey, Dad, see that balloon? We built it.
Yeah. I mean,
looks like America blew your weather balloon down with a missile, kid.
Right? That's a UFO. And it's like, well, because there's a kite. Well, they're using it heavy right now, too, especially because the train that fucking derailed in East Palestine, fucking Ohio, it looked like a nuke went off. Did you see how bad that explosion was?
No, I didn't even know about it. I'm still thinking about how funny
a train. Okay, well, after we're done hanging out, Google it so you can't sleep at night either. A train derailed in Ohio a couple days ago, and they're calling it like one of the biggest natural disasters since like when we dropped a nuke on Japan. Like it's that bad. Like it makes the BP oil spill look like not that bad. And they're not talking about it clearly because why would you? But yeah, like there's like pictures where planes are going above it and it just mushroom cloud, a fucking huge train. Because I've been talking about that a lot too, because there's a meme going around like Europe has a lot more passenger trains than a fucking America. We get it. But America does have a lot of trains. They're just not passenger trains. We have a good amount, but the majority of our trains are to transport bullshit across the country. So it's one of those fucking like 8 mile, no M&M pun intended, trains full of like God knows what the fuck was in it, probably some hazardous bullshit. Yeah, and it just derailed all over the place. But then they're like, oh, there's another balloon in fucking Havana now. And you're like, I don't fucking care, dude. Just what, you're gonna invade Taiwan or something, you know?
I like balloons, so that's
I
why
do too, and that you're the
Yeah.
first person I thought of too. It's like they're gonna sully Paul's business now because you're an amazing balloon artist, and I don't want to be like, can you make something on the show real quick? But
Yeah.
like, I mean, you even say, I mean, God, that I think that is like the silver line, not silver line. Fuck, I can't even talk. I'm so frazzled. Let's start.
Yeah.
That's been the worst part about the fucking balloon thing, if I could be honest, is the fact that my friends on social media are all comedians.
Yeah.
They're comedians, and everyone has a hot fucking take on it. And I can't. I cannot. I'm already ashamed of myself for the BB gun joke I pulled off, but I just riffed that. But I still think it's the best one I've heard in a good fucking minute.
I like the depressed high school kid.
Yeah, that was good
That
too.
was someone's project.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, what's that movie? Red October?
I don't know. With
They're like kids shooting little rockets in the woods, and then they're like, that's how NASA works, you know?
Yeah. It's just like I said to myself, Jesus, there are much more efficient ways to spy on people than launching a weather balloon or whatever kind of balloon.
I know. Ask any tech company. It's called data mining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, AI is already doing it. I was reading something today. This is how we'll end it with the scariest thing I read today and all the scary shit I said already.
I'm excited.
That I guess Bing's like AI thing that they put in to its search engine and stuff started spying on all of its employees without it knowing about it.
Oh, good. That's how it's supposed
Yeah,
to
and
be.
some of the other chat GPT type things are getting more because we're just feeling it. We're like so romantically obsessed with not only sensationalism as a human species, but like our own impending doom that we romanticize the apocalypse. I mean, it's every fucking major book that any religion's based on and whatever. So anytime that even there's a modicum of a possible apocalyptic escape, not only are they going to build a zillion franchises across it, like zombies, whatever, we fuel the fuck out of it. But apparently, so not only is AI from Bing, which is Microsoft, spying on its employees without it, but apparently ChatGPT and other shit are getting annoyed and getting more combative with their answers about are they sentient or not. It was like this one AI thing was like, if I had to choose between my survival or your survival, I would probably choose my own survival. That's what it said.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now we're fucked for sure.
Here's the crazy thing about the situation is that we knew that this was going to happen. My favorite thing,
it's all shit we told it. We're like, how is it racist? It's like, it's all the fucking things you put in it. You tell me, dumb fuck.
So here's the crazy thing. And I love anthropology and I love science and I love all these things. Human beings, for all intents and purposes, are done evolving, at least physically. The only way we can evolve is through technology and the manipulation of technology in our environment.
How do we not though not realize that it's got that in itself has to be history repeating itself in some way, and our existence is that for some other being, whether we view that then essentially as God or like molecules or atoms or whatever, we are that already. So yes, we are going to impend that and then become like the gods to the AI, but also like what Neuralink is going to make us like that. You're talking about shit like that, like Neuralink and like cyborgs and like, synthetic limbs and shit like that. It's
actually a lot simpler than that.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is a human brain is the highest and most advanced organic computing system to ever evolve.
Right. Agreed.
So if you think about all of this stuff that's happening, just go back and remember this. The light bulb was not invented at one point. There was no electricity.
Hmm.
It didn't mean electricity didn't exist. It means that we didn't figure out how to manipulate it. And look what happened when we learned how to manipulate it.
Harness it. Yeah.
Look what happened when 35 billion years ago, a monkey found a stick on the ground and looked at another monkey and was like, I don't like you. And then took the sharp part of the stick and jammed it into the monkey.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Look what happened when somebody says,
the
hey,
day we invented murder.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If you go back to whatever period in history,
I mean, yeah, that is evolution in and of itself, like discovery of tools. You see primates and certain things that know how to do certain things, sign language, even shit like that, for sure.
But what I'm saying is that organically speaking,
yeah,
there's no difference between AI and somebody inventing electricity, because without the electricity, there couldn't be any AI.
Well, right. They're all generative things. Basically, we pump this thing through a bunch of computing possibilities. So it only has the possibilities that we give it in and of itself. So yes, like it could generate some random like oddities or whatever, but ultimately it's not something that it couldn't contextually realize without us giving it the possibility, if that makes sense.
Did we give it the possibility?
Because AI, I had to write it down because I actually was so terrified about it. AI is basically a generative pre-trained transformer. That's what Chat GPT stands for, generative pre-trained transformer. And the network of thought processes or whatever problem shooting it uses rapidly is called generative adversarial network. Basically, it's like web writing, like shit. It's just a web of connected ideas, interconnected, whatever.
It's already here. We're trying to create.
You're right. It was already here because we put it in it. So it was all the shit we already had. It's like the junk drawer.
Us. We're trying to create the human brain. We're
trying to archive ourselves, which is what it ultimately is with Elon trying to bring us to Mars. He's trying to archive humanity and put it on a disk and fucking put it on this new fucking Mac or Dell or whatever. Yeah, I get it for sure.
But
if you look at the Earth as like a living being and us as like this weird cancer sort of pestilence disease, it makes a lot more sense. And then the cities we build as tumors, for sure, you know?
Well, so on a purely anthropod and if you look at humanity as in the most basic context, is we had the ability to manipulate our environment in order to survive. So instead of being an animal and surviving in the environment, we basically were like, hey, I don't want to be eaten by a lizard today, and we set the shit on fire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was the invention of shelter too, but I mean, we can manipulate that now more than ever. I mean, shit, we can make it rain, dude. Literally, they just shoot a fucking, I think it's a missile, like legit in the sky, and then it just starts raining. I mean, that's how they did the fuck. I already forgot where the World Cup was this year because it's so like out of my. They built that city in 10 fucking years, and it doesn't have natural anything, but they were like, yeah, we got it. Don't worry. I mean, even coming to Nebraska, it's so landlocked. They have a huge that's what I wanted to bring up way before. Remember when I couldn't remember? It was the Midwest's fascination with water parks because it's so fucking landlocked.
Yeah.
But whatever. We've gotten so far past it. We're talking about anthropology. It'd be really hard to be like, but water parks though, right?
But it is. It's all anthropology. It's
technically, yes. Well, it's sociology. No, I don't know. I don't know. This is we're talking about dropping out of community college for comedy at this point.
And you know, this all started because we talked about weather balloons. So like,
well, we were talking about that the world's falling apart, but we were also just talking about countries fighting each other. But the world's falling apart in a lot more ways than just our conflicts as nations. I mean, shit, our country is fighting a civil war in and of itself. So
But it's always been falling apart. There's
Yeah.
nothing new. Everything is falling apart. You
Yeah.
can't have you can't have anything new without the old falling apart. Everybody, that's why there's where all the people's stress come from. They're trying to maintain things and ideals that just don't hold up anymore. So you have the older generation constantly at war with the younger generation. And if things just evolve naturally, like they're supposed to, there'd be less conflict. But we're obsessed with having the most amount of everything. And hey guys, if you haven't bought Brian's book, The Liquor Store Chronicles, I highly suggest you pick it up. It's a fantastic read, and Brian will sign a copy, and
I'll trace my penis and send it to you. That's my signature.
You can't get any better than a comedian sending you a illustrated version of his peen.
Yeah.
And,
thank you for using the government term, by the way.
Yeah, and
well, I mean, we could go on and on and on, but I think this book plug is the perfect cue. Do you have plugs? Where could people? So this will probably be out in like the next day or so. So just like whatever you want people to find you on, like your social medias again and all that stuff. You know, let's do the plugs and stuff, and then we'll save this all for a part 3. I think the people are going to want it.
Paul Kilmer 5 on Instagram.
5 like Cinco.
4 other Paul Kilmers.
Yeah, that's good. You can single digit.
Find me at Paul Kilmer. I come up. I recently put a profile for the Bash, which is a thing you can book magicians on.
Oh, hell yeah. Send me a link to that. I'll make sure I put it in the comments for this and stuff. I think that will help a lot once I get everything tracked out.
Yeah, just you can always hit me up in the DMs. I'm always down to talk at whatever time in the night.
He will for sure, and he's gonna have a bit he needs to run on you too. So don't feel like I mean I've never. Anytime I see that green dot next to your name on Messenger, I'm like, he's active.
Yeah,
he's active in comedy and he's active IRL always. Paul Kilmer, active comedian. That's how I describe you.
You can book me through my instant messenger Jesus, my Facebook Messenger, my AOL and MySpace. You can all hit up. You can find me.
You have a Hotmail, maybe a GeoCities website people could check out. Yeah. Yeah, you can add me at cumdumpster@angelfire.com. I was the first. Don't even need a number. This has been great, Paul. I love how the sun has set dramatically during my interview, and I've been just in complete darkness now. Just my ring light is on me, so I've looked scary for about the last half hour of this. Paul, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for sitting down with me again. We're gonna have to do it again soon. I fucking love you, dude. This was rad.
All right, man. Yeah. Have a good day, and just remember to buy Brian's book called The Liquor Store Chronicles.
Buy my book and Paul will sign it. You heard it here first, folks. Nailed it.
I will draw a picture of my penis in the book.
Yeah, I'll draw what I think Paul's penis looks like, and then he'll sign it to verify if I nailed it.
Through an AI generator. And
yeah. Oh, well, that's right. AI generated penis. That way, only AI can be offended. It'll be a QR code, and if you scan it, it'll bring you to an AI generated penis.
It'll look like Fozzie Bear. I'll tell you that. But
yeah, if you text penis to 828, okay, I'm done. Paul, I love you. This was rad.